Hi everyone. I'm about to replace the elements in a WARD kiln. The little guys. This one here is a HP4. It's 15 amp, 3.6 kilowatt. The last time I fired, the firing took twice as long as it should have, and I thought, oh yep, it's now time to replace. I was up after midnight waiting for the kiln to reach temperature when it should have just been a nice relaxing evening. But yeah, so today's the day. I got an electrician out. Don't know if I really need him, but I did need him to undo these nuts and bolts. So it looks a little bit messy at the moment, but yeah, all those nuts and bolts there, they were just too tight for me. That middle one, I've just taken that out completely, and I have, get rid of my torch, you don't need that now, and the new elements are actually in. Those guys there are new elements, so pretty excited. It was a breeze to put them in, a little bit more fiddlier to get them out, only because they're sort of tight. They're tight in there, and I think maybe over the years, you know, they've sort of made their way into the brick a bit, like made themselves real comfy in there. But yeah, just a little bit persistence and a little bit of time, and they come right out. So that's the first installment. I've got the top one to go, and then I've got the bottom one to go. And I thought I'd record this because I was unable to find anything on these kilns and how to replace the elements. So hopefully this will help people. It can be done. You can do it. I just took lots of photos and videos of how everything went, but it seems to be pretty simple. So I will continue on and keep giving you updates and taking videos so we can see. While we are here, you see these two here. These are the actual end of the row of elements. So it goes from there and it comes in, it goes around, and then it comes back up, and then it goes back. So a big U-turn, and then they come out these two. So this is the top one that we're looking at now. And then the nuts and the bolts just seem to, there is a twist in the wire. Here it is, here I can show you. There was a twist in the wire, and then this loop here, I'll go in here, this loop here was around the bolt. So I'm thinking all we got to do is get the elements out. I've stuck the new ones through. This is the wire that I got of the new elements. So I'm thinking all I got to do now, well, when I'm ready, is to twist. You cut off some of this wire, a length of this wire, and you twist the end of this cut bit. I'll show you, you know, down the track in this video. So you cut this off, and with this length, you bring that up to here and you twist. It'll be inside more, but it's just so I can sort of show you with my hands. Twist it. That's how it was. I don't know if the twisting is important or not, but twist this wire and the length that you cut off together, which makes this. So one of these lengths, probably this one, was attached, was like part of the element that went around, and then the cut off bit that I just mentioned, the extension of that wire there, is the other one in this section here, and they've been twisted, and then up here that's where the nut and the bolt is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that twist thing. I've just pulled one of the elements out, like one of the ends of the element. That's the other end of the element there. So I'm just going to twist the two wires together, and I'm going to do it close to this one, and I'm going to try and make it tight so that it'll go into, there's a hole that goes through to that bit I was just showing you on the other side. So I'll twist this, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've just been informed I don't need to twist the two wires together as per this one, you know, the original way that it was done. What I need to do is just put this end of the element wire through the hole, through the panel on the other side, on the outside of the kiln. Tuck this back in. Tuck it all in there. And we'll get all nice and cozy later. And then we'll go around to the outside where the panel is, just on the other side of this wall here. Just a sec. What I might do first, before I put the nuts and the bolts on, is I might just cut this wire some more, and then I will bend the wire so that it'll go around the bolt. It's a really hard angle to try and get the camera at to take video of what I'm actually doing, but what I have done is I've got the end of that wire and just I put this little guy back on as per the other ones, but yeah, I've bent that wire. There's a fine line between the length, just make sure you get the length right, and then the bolt and the washer will go through that, and then that metal plate there, sorry, it's a bit hard with one hand, a couple of fingers on one hand, and that'll go through there, and then I've got my nut to tighten that up. Okay, so that is now all tightened up, and that this little guy here, sorry, that guy there is the end of the element wrapped around the bolt. So just make sure you wrap that around the bolt. You're going to have to do that yourself. It's a little bit fiddly, but it can be done. You just, like I said, you just need to get that length of wire cut to the right length when you come out, so that you can just curl it around there, and then there's enough room to bypass that. So this is the next one, the one above, which is the other end of the element. As you can see, the wire comes through, long length, extra length, and then that is the plate that adjoins the next element above. I'm doing the middle element inside the kiln at the moment, so I will be putting this guy through the wire, putting him back on there, and then I will be cutting the wire, making a loop, so that this loop that I make will go around this bolt here, around that bolt for more surface around that bolt, and then tightening them up. So just so you get an idea of what I was saying about the length of the wire, you got to allow for that, like little insulator type thing there, And then you've got to allow for the wire to wrap around that bolt. Not too much more, not too much less. So just make it around about that length so that it just wraps around that bolt. It's just a small bolt, but yeah, just give it enough to wrap around there. That one. Made the loop. The bolt goes through that loop that I've made with the end of the element wire, and then I'll just put the nut on that, tighten it up. So what we have now is the center elements now connected up. That's the element there, that's the middle element for the kiln. That there is technology, hey? That there is the top element, and this one here is the bottom element. So far I've just done the center element replacement. The elements are all now tucked in, and there's the center elements all done, tucked in. Then I've got the top to do. That's one lot of elements there, and then the bottom lot to do. So if you can see, they have that hole that goes through, and that is where I've just done. Another tip I can give you too, which helped me get those last elements out, was to get a length of wire. If you can find a length of wire, I find that you can just sort of poke it into the coils and then hopefully slide it along a bit as well, and lifts it up. Okay, I just found a little bit down in that corner there, and I was able to pick that up. So that's a big help. So I've got the wire up here, just keeping that up out of this ridge, and I've got my pointy nose pliers, and I've just been like gradually going across and just giving it a little bit of a gentle nudge to bring them up out of that. And that's what I've been doing there. And then I move on a little bit further up and do it again. Some has been really easy and some has been rather tight, but so far it's coming out. And just being patient with it. Gentle, patient and persistent seems to be the way to go. But you can see there's bits of, where it's chipped, but that's a-okay. Trying to keep that as a minimal as I can, of course, but there is only so much that you can do. I find too that the best thing to do is just to take bits off gradually, like not bring too much up at once. Just go along gradually. Where's my wire? This wire has been handy for sure. So if you can poke it in between the coils of the elements and just, this wire is just a little bit too thick, but you need it strong enough that it's got enough to lift. No, it doesn't want to come up yet. Some sections are easy and some sections are difficult. There's always got to be the difficult ones, doesn't there? Like I say, persistence, patience, and there we go, gentleness. But don't give up. It's not going to beat you. There we go. It's all coming up now. Just a little bit of a twist. And there we go. Right, it's now out from the grooves, or it's loose in the grooves now. Alright, so now we'll go back outside of the kiln and I'll undo the second lot of bolts. Also, what I do is I just squeeze these two together so it's easy to get through that insulation bit there, and that there is the bit that goes around the bolt. So yeah, I just squeeze them together so it's more gentle and easier to get through that hole in that insulation bit. You want to be able to pull that insulation bit out of there. Excuse my hands. I'm just pulling that out. So she's now out. So that'll be easier to pull through the wall of the kiln. Then on the inside of the kiln again, grab the element. I've just got the long nose pliers. Grab the element and hopefully it will come out a little bit closer to where the hole is. Here we go. And try and get my hands out of the way for you too so you can actually see what I'm doing. And pull that through. And there we go. That one is now out. Alrighty. And then I'm just going to go around with my pliers. I've already pulled it, made it all loose everywhere. So now I'm just gently pulling the coils of the elements out. Just grab that with my long nose pliers. And it just gently comes out. There you can see they're coming out. May even be able to do it with my hand. Yep. Okay. Let's go to this one. Gently. And then there's a straight bit of wire up in here. I'm just slightly jiggling. Just got to get it in the right. There. I might put you down so I've got two hands. Yes, much easier with two hands. And that's where it sort of turns around and goes back around the kiln. Now what I'm going to do is line up that straight wire into there and just place it, the new elements into the grooves. Come on to the other side, inside of the kiln. Pop them in the grooves there. And just into the first bit. And what I'll do here is I'm just going to stick those wires through, the excess wire through those holes. I'll find the holes without looking. There's one. Let's go through, get the other one. Straighten it up to get through. Alright, so they're now coming to the outside of the kiln. Tuck them in. So they're not down in the grooves yet, they're just in this spot. Alright, now we'll go to the outside of the kiln again. Right, so what I'll do now is I'll just cut excess wire off. And then I'm going to cut down to probably around here. I'll put the insulation thing back on. It'll go over that hole, and then like thread it through the wire, and then yeah, then I'll just bend the wire again and make a loop so it loops around the bolt. Once again, bent the wire, made a loop, and now I'll put the bolt through there, and the other wires that go up to there, and that'll be the top one done. That one's all nice and tight now. That one was a little bit more fiddly because it doesn't have a plate like the others. It's just what attaches it is the actual element, and then everything comes off that loop and goes to the different sections, like there, the different wires. And I think it's that one and that one, yeah. And please excuse the crow in the background. I don't know why they've got to yell at each other. I don't know why they just can't go over and have a chat. But that's how it is with crows. They want to yell. Anyway, back to this. That's all nice and tightened now. And we'll move on to the next one, which is just below. So all the top ones are now complete and tightened. And then I've just got to do those last two. The nuts and bolts have been loosened, as you can see there. They're a little bit stiff because I think these must have been the original elements, which is pretty cool. They've lasted a long time. But yeah, it's now time. It's now time for a bit of a service for it. We'll just do the bottom elements, and then the job is done. I just found with these, the ones with the plates were so much easier to do. These were just a little bit more fiddlier because, like I said, the wire coming out from the element, you've got to bend it as per the others, but everything relies on that to join, to attach to everything else. Now we're on the bottom one, the very last lot of element to come out. So once again, gentle, slowly but forcefully seems to be the way to go. Grab another section a little bit further up, give it a twist, and she seems to pop out. Grab another bit, a little bit further up, give her a twist, and she's coming out. A little bit further up, a little bit of a twist, and she pops out. Okay, and this excess bit here, the end of the element will come out. Gentle persuasion. I might need to bend those wires that are on the other side a little bit tighter, but at this stage it doesn't need to come out. So just pick a spot, give it a pull, get into another spot, give it a twist, and she wants to come out. Go a bit further up, give her a twist, and she just pops out, and it looks like that actual element may have broken. So that, I mean, that doesn't matter, we're replacing them, but it just goes to show that they were becoming brittle, because the top one, the original top one that's up further, that was breaking in numerous spots. The one in the middle, the element in the middle, that was no problem. So maybe keep it, maybe not. But yeah, so it's interesting. The top one and the bottom one seem to be more brittle than the middle one. I'll keep going. All nuts and bolts are all tightened up on all 3 lots of elements. All tightened up now. And all the elements are tucked in to their beds. So now I've got to turn on the kiln and do an empty firing to about 1,000 and do that for a couple of hours. Now I'm going to do a bisque fire at 1,000 for a couple of hours, just to get everything settled in before I do a proper firing with items in it. I've just set up the cone, the 06 cone, so I can see through the peephole there. We'll see how we go. Okay, the next step. Turn the kiln on, do a bisque firing. As you saw, the kiln is empty. Got the cone up where I can see it through the peephole. Kiln is on, 1,000 degrees, couple of hours. Sit back, have a coffee, and cross fingers. And if you don't want a coffee, maybe a nice strong cold beverage might help. Help the nerves, but fingers crossed. Hello once again. It's the following day now. I did the bisque firing, empty load to 1,000. Got up there in next to no time, which was awesome. Really excited about that. Very good. And then I thought earlier this morning I'll put on a mid-fire, and there's stuff in the kiln. So it's cooling down at the moment. It's still too hot to open up and start getting or seeing what's in there. So yeah, I just wanted to let you all know that yes, it's worked. Yeah, hopefully this video helps you out, because I've not, like I've said, I've found nothing on the internet that sort of guides you through where to start and what to do with the WARD kiln and the changing of the elements. So I hope it helps.